the straight line, right? I want to review a little bit about the straight line before we go into circles, right? So I want you to remember that every straight line is of the form y is mx plus c. Okay, right? So a straight line is something like this, right? And it has these two main features. It has a gradient and it has a y-intercept, right? How do I find the equation of a line? Right? To find the equation of a line, right? To find the equation of a line, we need to, number one, find gradient. Number two, find C. Right? This is the version that you would have done in maths. There's a next version. There's a next version that looks like this. Y minus y1 is m by x minus x1. Right? I'll show you how to use both today. Right? This one is if you don't want to find C. You just plug in the point and the gradient and you get equation. If you want to find C, you use this version here. All right? So I just want to review how to find the equation of a line, right? So let's just do an example. And then after the line, what's the next shape that we learned? We learned the equation of a line. What have we been doing for the past few weeks? A quadratic, right? We did the equation for quadratic, right? For curves. And then we're going to turn it into a circle now. Right? So small example. Let's say I gave you A 2, 1 and B 4, 2. Right? And I want you to find the equation of that line. Right? So watch this here. First thing, I'm going to find gradient. Right? I'm going to find gradient formula. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Y2, right? You can label it up, it's up to you. You could call this X1, Y1. You could call this X2, Y2, right? So your Y2 is 2, your Y1 is 1, your X2 is 4, and the X1 is 2. So again, 1 over 2. Are you okay with this? Yeah, 1 over 2. And then I'm going to show you method 1, how to find the equation using this formula. Right? So you want to find C. C is y minus mx. Right? Does it matter which point I use? Does it make a difference if I use this or this? No. Once you point on the line. Right? Once you point on the line, this on the line, we go to. Right? How do we find C? C will be, I'll use, it don't matter, I'll use this one here. Right? Y is 1. Gradient is a half. And x is 2. Double cancel, so you're getting C to be 0. Yeah, C is 0. So your answer is y is equal to half x plus 0. Right? That's method 1. Method 2, I don't want to find C this way. I want to use y minus y1 is m by x minus x1. Right? This y1 value comes from here. Gradient is a half, and the x1 value is 2. So that's y minus 1 is a half x. A half minus 2 is minus 1. Move across minus 1. You get plus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. You end up with a half x. Same thing. All right? So either of these methods could be used to find the equation of a line. Anyone you want. All right? Copy down. I want to give you 2 points just for you to try it, right? ที่มันเกี่ยวสีกับรูทเปิดมีมันจะสั่งมีไหมWord.
Word, so just word, and just add it. It's such a fun to try. It's connection. Yeah.
Right, you can use any method you want, right? Right, take of this, I could take of these 2 points. Right, try this one up, please find the equation of this one. Right, that's 7 minus 5, and this is 4, 3. Right, find the equation of this line here. Number 2. Follow the same steps, right? Oh. Right, take your time and find it. I will use method 2, right? Right, let's see what you got for gradient. That'll be 3 minus 5 over 4 minus 7. Right, so that's 8 over minus 3. So we're using y minus, I am using 4, 3. Don't really matter, right? I am using 4, 3. And here's 8 over minus 3, x minus 4. Right? The reason I chose 4, 3, that less minus sign, right? So I just plug it in, right? I'm plugging in 3 and I'm plugging in 4. Should get the same answers. So I'll get y minus 3 is minus 8 on 3x, and a minus and minus a plus. Plus 8 by 4 is 32. 32 on 3. Right? I'm moving this 3 here. So I'll get y is equal to minus 8 on 3x plus 32 on 3. Right? And if I move it across, I get plus 3. If I multiply everything by 3, I'll get 3y minus 8x plus 32 plus 9. So final answer, 3y is minus 8x plus 41. Yeah? This just to make it look nicer, right? If you have minus 8 on 3, 41 on 3, or decimal, that will work as well, right? This is just to make it a little bit nicer, right? Are you okay with that? Right. So these are the things that you need to remember from the equation of a line. And one more thing I wanted to add to this is that some quick rules on gradient, right? Parallel lines have what? What we know about the gradient? Parallel lines have what? Right? Parallel lines have the same gradient. Parallel lines have the same gradient, and perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines, the product of the gradient is minus 1. Product of the gradient is minus. Right? That's a perpendicular line. The product is minus 1. Right? So from this now, we're going to take a look at circle. Right? What are two important things a circle must have? A circle must have two things. It's defined by two things. Just like our line is defined by a gradient and see, circle defined by two things. Center, it must have a center. Let's say the center is AP. So it must have a center. What else it must have? A circumference. But how you can get a circumference? By having a radius, right? So you must have a center and a radius. Once you have those two things, you have a circle, right? And I want to show you now how we can get an equation from this. Right, Adrian? Right, so we have a center, we have a radius, and we have a random point. Let's call that point P, X, Y. Right? Let's see if we can create an equation. Right? I want to show you something here, right? If I were to take this line as a hypotenuse, I could create a right angle triangle. Right? And if I create a right angle triangle, I can use the rules for right angle triangle, like Pythagoras theorem. Right? Hypotenuse squared is opposite and adjacent squared. That's okay. So I need some help. How do I find here? How do I find? I know here is A, B, and here's X, Y. Any ideas how I could find this length? Any ideas? Let me just give you a small hint, right? Just a small hint. Just a small hint, right? This X value here is what? This X value for that point is what? A. The X value is A, right? What's the X value for this point here? For this one, X. Right? What's the Y value for this one? For this point? B. What's the Y value for this point? That's the only hint I wanted to give. I want to know how you could use that to figure out this length and this length. We think you have some. How are you going to use what I just show you there to figure out the length? Easier than that. How you could get this length? Put it as numbers. If here was 12 and here was 5, how much is here? The distance. If here was 12 and here was 5, what's the distance here? 12 minus 5. But it's not 12 and it's not 5. So what's the distance here? X minus E. So the distance here is X minus E. Like you see that online? What's the distance here? What's the distance here? Y minus B. That's okay? You'll see it now? So, can I apply Pythagoras theorem now? Right? So, if we apply Pythagoras theorem, let's spell it wrong, right? Let's put Py. Right? Hypotenuse squared is equal to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. Right? What will happen? Hypotenuse squared is what? This long side, right? Yeah? So it's r squared. Opposite, it don't really matter for now because I have no angles. Let's write x minus e. Let's call this opposite. X minus e squared plus y minus b squared. What does that look like? For those who did it already, this is the equation of a circle. Right? Right? It have different names to them. Some people call this the general form or a standard form, right? This is the general form for the equation of a circle, right? So you just derive the equation of a circle length, right? So if you see this, there's a circle, center is A, B, radius is R, right? This is one version of the circle. I'm going to show you our next one. But once you can increase your reads and physical thinking ability as much as possible. So provided you learn the basic things. Like those who gain from my surround. Right, after you write it down, just do my favor now. Expand this out. Expand this out. And you'll get the next equation. Right? Right, online, do me a favor, expand this out, right? Partially awaken.
Yes, sir.
I want you to expand this out here for me, right? Expand out this
sir,
squared.
All right.
Right, so there are two forms of the equation. This one for the circle, this one, and next one I'm going to show you now. Try to expand this. Finish. So if we expand this, you'll get x squared minus 2ax plus e squared. If you expand this, you'll get y squared minus 2by plus b squared. And then I'm bringing across the r squared equal to 0. Okay? Let's bring the x squareds together and the y squareds together. Then let's write the x. Let's write the y term. And then let's bring all the constants together. A squared plus b squared minus r squared. Right? It's looking complicated, but this is the next form of the circle. Right? It can be written like this here. Right? Standard form. Right? The standard form looks like this. They don't really use A and B. What they do is they use F and G. 2fx plus 2gy plus c. So if you see that, if you see this equation here, the center and I'll explain it just now, minus f minus g, and the radius is the square root of f squared plus g squared minus. So instead of writing this big thing here, they just write a c. And it looks more like this. Sorry, like this. So you have two forms, general and standard form. I'm going to share out to you both of them, right? So the same thing, but instead of writing minus a, they write f. Instead of writing minus b, they write g. And instead of writing this, they write. Right? So I want to show you how to read them off, right? Right, watch this here. How do I use this to help me find the center and the radius? Right? What we have to do now is compare to this here. So how do I find the center? If I have minus and minus, my center is A and B. Right? But here I have minus and plus. That's okay? So it means my center is 2. What do I write here? What do you think is the y value is? Plus 2 or minus 2? Minus 2, right? Because to get plus 2 is really minus 2. So that tells me that my x value is 2 and my y value is minus 2. Whenever you're comparing it, it must be in this form. You must have minus signs in front, right? So that tells me the x value is 2 and the y value is minus 2. And my radius is how much? 5, right? Remember the radius is r, right? That. Okay? You okay with that? So here, how do I find the center and the radius here? What you have to do here is a little bit different. I need to find minus f and minus g. So what we do is we compare minus 4x with 2fx. The x will cancel. So it means that minus 4 is 2f, right? So f is what? Move across 2, f is minus 2. You okay with that? You sure? Same thing, you compare 8 with 2g. So you compare 8y with 2g. Sorry, I made a mistake here. That should be a y. Let's go back and fix it now. That should be a y, right? It should be a y, right? The xy, xy. Right? And the y's will cancel, and you can make y, you can make a g the subject. Carry across the 2, g is 4. All right. So what is my center? My center is the rule said minus f minus g. F is minus 2. So minus f is positive 2. G is 4. So minus g is minus 4. That's my center. Right? So all I have to do whenever I have this form, compare this to 2f, compare this to 2g. Once you find F and G, just change the signs. All right? Yeah? And how do I find radius? To find radius, I need F, G, and C. So to find radius, I need F squared. F was -2. So I write -2 squared. G squared, G was 4. And a minus in C. Well, C is here. C is minus. Right? So you go take calculator, you'll get 4 plus 16 plus 2 as square root of 22. That's a radius. Okay with that? So we're gonna practice a few of these until I get it hang out, right? Online, if you're confused, we're gonna do our next one here, right? Right, remember this circle have two ways of representing them, right? Like this and like this. Right? We get in trouble to do it this, huh? Right? So each one, find the center and find the radius. Right? Try to find the center and the radius in each case, right? So you're comparing this to this. Remember, the signs must be negative. Then you could easily read it off. Right, see ya, help me out here now. What is center for this one? We show minus or positive? 3 and 4, right? Because once here's a minus, you just read the value off. Okay? So the radius here is 3 and 4. That's okay? Sorry. Center is 3 and 4. How do you find radius? What's the radius here? Is it 64? No, it must be in this form, right? So how do we get 64? Base squared. Right? So it means that the radius is 8. Okay? Radius is 8. Right? So remember to square root that value, right? It is not squared. Try number 4. Take your time, compare this to the right thing, compare this to the right thing. And well, you know that this is C, right? Right? So take your time, compare this. What do we compare it to? What do we compare 2 to? We compare 2 to whatever in front of x. Right? So the coefficients of x here is 2. Coefficients of what we comparing it to 2f. Right? So whatever in front of x, 2f all the time. So f is what? F is 1. What are we comparing minus 4 to? We're comparing it to 2g. Right? 2g. So we're comparing whatever in front of y with positive 2g. So minus 4 is 2g, so g is minus 2. So that means that the center is what? Minus f minus g. That's okay? Minus f minus g. And how do we get the radius? Square root of f squared plus g squared minus c. Right? So I have the square root of 1 plus 4 minus 3. Square root of 2. Copy them, can give you our next one. Online, I want some answers to this one, right? Are you okay with that? So it must be in this form earlier. It must be in this form. If you have a value on this side, bring it across. Here must be 0. Here must be x squared, y squared. 1 x squared, 1 y squared. Not 2, not 3. That's okay? And then the x term, your y term constant. Any questions online? Jaden, any questions? You good? All right. Gonna give you our next one. I want to give you our next one. Right online, I need some answers to this one, right? I give you 2 again, 2 different forms. Try number 6. And 5. Online message answer to this one, please. Right, find the center and read in each case, right? Please remember that this must be equal to what? Must be equal to 0, right? Right? Online message. Message. What is the center here? Center is what? Sydney, right? It's Sydney. Help me out here now. What you get for the radius? I'm center. -2, nice, because you have plus here, so you have to change the sign. And here's, yep, correct. And the radius is what? Right? So instead of 16, you can root that and you get 4. Okay? With number 6, we have a slight problem with number 6. Right? The problem with number 6 is that it's equal to 3. Right? We don't want that, so you move the 3 across, make it equal to 2. All right? Make it equal to 0. Now we do the comparing. Whatever in front of x is 2f. Right? And whatever in front of y is 2g. Right? So it means that f is -2, g is -5. Right? And most of your work finished there. Center. The center is 2, 5. And your radius is the square root of what? Square root of 2 squared plus 5 squared minus. How much is that? Very good. Very much. Yeah. 20 athletes. Right. Didn't get a partner. Right. What we have here? We have 4 plus 25 plus 3. So that's root 32. Yeah, root 32, leave it just like that, right? When you clear it up. All right, try one hard one now. One hard one. A little bit different. And then we're going to add on one thing to this. Any questions online? And again, answers from everybody. What I got from some. Right, so I'm giving you one a little bit trickier. Try that in. Find the equation of that circle. Okay.
Washing times.
I understand that a few problems there. Right, Antonio, message some answers. Forget Ilano, Tyra. Right, I see that problem, so people forget, huh? Some people forget. Look at this here. I was saying, look at this. Look at what you have here. Right, it has to be 1x², 1y², right? So don't forget to divide by. Right, so if I divide by 4, I'll get x² plus y² minus 2y. When I move across the 12, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So your equation actually looks like this, right? It must, you must have 1x² plus 1y². Right, so you have to figure out was 2f, was 2g. Right, is there any x term? No x term, so 2f is, 2g is minus 2, right? And then we find for f. F is 0, g is minus 1. So we know that the center is 0, 1. Change the signs, right? And last part, radius, square root of f² plus y², sorry, g² minus c. Right, so I got the square root of 1 plus 3, sorry, minus 3, yeah. So the answer is 2. 2, right? Right, remember it's c is minus 3. So it's 1 plus 3. How about? What I have? No, remember comparing, so 2f is equal to 0. 2g is this value. What I mean, like what did here? Why I have what? So here, remember 2f is whatever in front of x, 2g whatever in front of y. So 2f is whatever in front of x, there's no x, so for 0. Oh, that's what I mean? Oh, yeah. And I just write 2g is that. Okay, so that's the way we read off the equation of that's the way we read off center and radius, right? So I just want to do one more thing to add on to this. Right, last thing. Last thing we're doing for today is how to find the equation of tangent. Okay, so if I give you a circle and I said find the equation of tangent to the circle at this point here, here's all we need. There's a rule that we need to know. Whenever tangent meets a radius, what's the angle? Right? 90 degrees. So what that means that tangent and a radius are always perpendicular. Okay? So tangent and radius are always perpendicular. And because of that, to find the equation, these are the steps that we take. Right? The first step to find the equation tangent is to find the gradient of radius. Right? Let's call that MR. So the first thing we do is find gradient here. Then the second thing we need to find the gradient here, Adrian. Right? We need to find the gradient here. Right? Based on the rules I gave you, to get the gradient of tangent minus 1 over the gradient of the radius. Right? It's called negative reciprocal. Right? That's a little formula I gave you a while ago. Right? But gradient of tangent, this is how you find it. Flip this value over and change the sign. And lastly, use y minus y1 is equal to m by x minus x. Right? Note that. Right? What you say, please? Whenever you're finding the equation of this line, the point that you're going to use is this point here. Okay? Because this point is on the line, not the center. You're using this point here. The point on this, the point that passes through the tangent. Okay? Not the point that is finding here. Everybody okay with that? Actually, I should put in one more step here for you, you know. Let's call this step B, 1B, 1A, find the center. All right. So these are the steps that it takes to find the equation of tangent, right? Just want to do one or two examples, right? Right? So your 3 steps, find the center. Well, 4 steps, find the center, find the gradient of the radius, find negative reciprocal, and use the equation of a line. All right, copy it down. Let's do this one together. Copy down and let's try example one together, right? Come finish copy down, we do it now and do it together. Fine. Fine. Right, we are finished, right? Let's try this one together, right? All right, so let's run through this. Step one is to find the center. What's the center here? Center here is what? -2, +1, right? When this plus, minus. Right? That's the center. Next is to find the gradient of the radius. Right? So you write the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What are the 2 points we're using? This and this. Okay? We're using these 2 points here. Right? So it don't matter. 5 minus 1, 4 minus -2. Right? I got 4 and 6. or I can simplify it, 2 and 3. So what will be the gradient tangent? What is do again? Flip, change the sign. So 2 over 3 becomes 3 over 2, and it's positive, so this becomes negative. So that's step 1, 2, 3. Last step, we're using y minus y1 is equal to m by x minus x1. So quick question. We know the gradient is 3 and 2. What do we use for x and y? Do we use 4, 5, or do we use minus 2, 1? What do we choose? We choose the 4, 5, right? We choose the point on tangent, not the center, right? Choose the point on the tangent. So you're going to plug in 5 and you're going to plug in x1 is 4. That's it? Right, Caleb? So y minus 5 is minus 3x on 2. 2 into 4 is 2. I got plus 6. Move it across. I got 3 and 2 x plus 11. You want to make it look nice? Multiply by 2. You'll get 2y is minus 3x plus 20. That's okay? Copy it down and try example 2 and we're done. Right? Last one and we got. The time, just one, make sure you get your center right, because if you get your center wrong, everything else wrong. So just checking to make sure you get your center right. The center is 4-3. Right? We don't need radius. That's all I need, center. With the last one. Yeah. All right, so take your time, find the equation, try to make it look nice. Here is any fraction, and you are done. Right, remember no add mass, well, no class next week, right? Nice. So gradient of radius, that'll be 6 minus 3 over 2 minus 4. I got 3 on minus 2. You all got that? Gradient tangent, flip it over, and then change the sign. So it's plus 2 and 3. And then use y minus y1 is gradient by x minus x1. So I got y minus 6 is 2/3 x minus 4 and 3. I got it? Move across this, multiply everything by 3. So you'll get 3y minus 18 is 2x minus 4. So you'll get 3y is 2x. Bring across the 18, I get plus 40. Yeah? No? Yeah? Make a mistake? Right? Take your time with the sign, right? Right? So that's the way you take an equation of a circle, find the center and radius, and how to find the equation tangent. All right? So we'll stop here for today. And next week, following week, we will do some more circles and finish it up.